I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Twitter freak plans to attack fellow convention goers wearing a problematic t-shirt about VTubers. So from what I've seen, this is basically like this running joke that since they'll be asking for government issued IDs at OffKai, that means like there'll be like an ICE raid happening there. They'll be basically waiting to see who's like undocumented, and someone made like the joke t-shirts of I went to OffKai and I got deported for my Oshi. And they're like people who actually decided to get it printed and sell it. So I'm assuming that's what it's about.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be talking about the drama involving this year's OffKai Expo, which is a very popular VTuber-related expo. Now, this year, a lot of the drama focuses on two things. One convention goer who is threatening to assault people for wearing a certain shirt.
Oh, so the main topic is that people want to assault the ones who wear this one. What?
Bro, what?
Well, okay.
To the event, and also some security concerns after there's a new identification requirement to visit various booths and meet and greets for VTubers at the convention. Now, we have a pretty funny history. There's some personal and other history we've covered on this channel that I'm going to go.
Okay, I don't care how badly you wanna see your Oshi and your favorite VTuber, but the fact that it's gonna be volunteers, not trained professionals or like the security agency who's gonna be handling the government issues ID, is gonna be volunteers handling them. I don't think that's safe. I don't think it's responsible. Like, if people coming there for you to meet you there, or your meet and greet, I think it's your responsibility to actually tell your community what's the possibility there.
Go through real quick before we look at the most recent stuff. So back in 2024, the VTuber
Yep.
Kirsha was actually blacklisted from her OffKai Expo panel. That was a whole set of drama where basically she was told, based on concerns of some of the volunteers, that she could no longer have a panel that she was given, and she was still free to come to the event and of course give them money for a ticket and stuff like that. But when pressed on what actually happened, turned out it was the usual cancel culture stuff.
Yeah, wasn't it like the volunteers who said that they don't feel safe if she goes there?
Bro, what?
But
Why?
but they feel safe if she goes there and pays money. They don't feel safe if she goes there without paying money.
That's dumb.
Where the OffKai Expo director,
Director,
said
my
that there was a
bad.
series of tweets where she made comments about pronoun discourse,
My bad, not volunteer, director.
DEI initiatives, and LGBT plus acronyms. And when pressed, yeah, it turned out that it was some of the staff at OffKai, the volunteers, who were upset at Kirsha. They didn't like her. They found her problematic, and they were successful in getting her blacklisted from her panel. Does this sound familiar? Well, yeah, of course. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when she was targeted for life ruination by a bunch of people at Vice and some Twitter freaks who wanted her sponsors pulled and stuff like that. Time is truly a circle. Now, seeing this back in 2024, me and my wife were actually supposed to be sponsored guests as well. We saw this, we didn't like it, so in solidarity with her, we decided to give up our spots. And there was a fun...
I kind of vaguely remember that, but at that point I haven't been really following it. It's way before me and Zen started even like doing all of this.
Funny ending to this where some of Kirsha's community, a couple Giga Chads, decided to help out and host a sort of guerrilla-styled meet and greet where they literally put
I've seen this.
a tripod on top of trash cans in the back alley of the convention, and we did a meet and greet, all three of us. And dozens of people showed
really
up,
cool.
and it was super fun.
I've seen pictures of it. That was really cool.
And then they did a real big move where they took the tripod and walked it through the entire convention that we were technically blacklisted from. Very funny stuff, a funny end to that whole thing. So let's now fast forward to this year's OffKai Expo. This is the first set of controversy, involves a new requirement for the attendees who are trying to visit a VTuber meet and greet. So for this OffKai Generation 4, we're requiring a verification check of a government-issued ID during queue. So if you want to do a meet and greet with your Oshi, aka your favorite VTuber, you gotta show them your government-issued ID. Now, there's a lot of reaction to this. Some people think it's a nothing burger. Some people think it is a giant threat to people's security and personal information. Now, truth be told, from my perspective, I think the answer here lies somewhere in between. Okay, you can feel free to disagree with me. I'm not the arbiter of truth here, but I think there's some things to consider here when you're looking at this situation. Number one, I can't ignore the irony of this VTuber.
I think it just spells disaster. Talked, I already made my opinion on it, like, known at the beginning of this. This just spells disaster.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why the people who are hosting the meet and greet, like the VTubers who are there to do the meet and greet, why they're not doing a disclaimer to their own audience.
VTuber meet and greet requiring more identification than the same state it's hosted in, California, requires to vote in the presidential election. That is crazy to think about. But there's other obvious concerns here. Rosie Bell would raise it, basically saying this post was made 10 days before the convention, and basically it would have been a better idea to give people a stronger and more forward heads up on this requirement.
Wait, what are their policies on refunds? Did they make the announcement like, oh, what's the refund cutoff? Did they make it after the cutoff? Or like, that would be really interesting to find out. Because again, some people wouldn't be able to like refund their flight tickets and hotels. So no matter what, this is scummy.
Because maybe for some people, if they knew about this, maybe they wouldn't buy a ticket, especially if they're traveling across the United States or across the world. Maybe this would have been something they didn't want to agree to. They didn't think this was a part of the requirements. And now, of course, it comes 10 days before the convention, and it's kind of like you're stuck at this point. It's going to be really hard to cancel any sort of plans if this sort of thing is a concern to you. And also, you can see the other reactions, some of the top liked responses saying, what sane person is giving some random con staff their legal name, etc., to meet an anime woman? Here's my question. Why would I give you my ID that God knows what your staff or volunteers are going to do with it, especially when the meet and greet really just amounts to interacting with a VTuber via video chat through some platform like Discord? A con for weirdo on internet's want weirdo on internet to show real name. What could go wrong?
That was painful to read, though.
Yeah, my brain kind of hurt when he read that.
But no, that's the reality. So you're supposed to provide your actual government issue ID to talk to someone over a video call.
All of these share kind of the same concern about giving over your ID to random people at a convention. That is a very clear history of some of its staff, its volunteers, abusing their position to take out their personal bias against some VTubers, or in other cases, go even further.
And if we've seen anything the past year, there are definitely people who will target VTubers and target their own audience just to get to the VTuber. So
Yeah.
F this, like, don't go, like, holy hell. At this point, it's easier to just organize your own meet and greet in your own Discord.
I agree with that.
It's a video call anyways.
So we saw examples of Kirsha as well as Pippa back in 2023, where people were trying to mess with their panels because they didn't like them personally. And there were staff there that were trying to make things happen based on their personal bias on these VTubers instead of just ignoring it or working on other panels. But also there was other serious situations back in 2023 where this VTuber reported that one of the people at OffKai, one of the staff, bragged about getting a job there just so they could go around and try to reveal the identities of various people attending the convention.
And there you have it. Literally everything everyone's been saying about how it's gonna go. And there you have it. Anyone surprised? Absolutely no. Anyone who had a single brain cell already knew this is gonna happen.
I mean, this is obviously very invasive and weird, especially in the VTubing scene where privacy is a very big deal. And yeah, that happened. So people have genuine concerns about what the staff is going to do with their information. Now, Pippa herself would have a response where she says, I'm going to get stuff for this, but I think this is to cut down on scalpers reselling meet and greet tickets plus stalkers/weirdos. Yes, the VTuber is on a screen, but stalkers show up, feel emboldened by making the VTuber uncomfortable, their behavior escalates. And the thing is, I agree.
And yeah, we've seen so many incidences with stalkers ramping up in the VTuber community. Like, look at the Camilla situation, what she had to go through after a meet and greet. So I get needing the security for the people who are holding the meet and greet, but most of the parts that people are criticizing about this move is that it's not actual employees handling it. It's not the actual security agency handling. It's the volunteers handling. So if they would have announced that it's an actual security company or agency doing it, it would have been fine. Why not hire actual security? Then exactly, that's what I'm saying.
With everything she's saying, I think these are all valid concerns. And also, I want to make it clear too, to pick up your tickets at OffKai or really any convention, you typically have to give over your ID to begin with. And a lot of conventions, they check your ID at the entrance of the convention, not at individual booths or anything like that, but at the entrance itself, the general admission. Or they make you show your ID for 18 plus events for some obvious reasons. Now, this year, the concern about scalpers, very real. I mean, that pretty much happens with any major event these days. Someone's going to buy a bunch of tickets to resell them for a profit. And also, there's always going to be stalkers and weirdos. And yes, as she points out, just because someone's on a screen as a VTuber, it doesn't make it any less ridiculous to deal with. You shouldn't have to deal with weirdos and stalkers. I just kind of disagree with how this should be implemented. I don't think having this extra level of checking at the individual booth is the best route. I think the other routes I said about general admission and picking up your tickets is a good way to weed out some of the stalkers who might be known in the community and stuff like that. And scalpers are just going to be a risk. But with this particular solution that OffKai has about adding this government ID check at the actual...
Maybe it's because of where I used to live, but when I was attending like Comic-Con and like anime expos, when we had to enter the building, we had to show them the ID, and it was like actual hired security. So it wasn't like ID for a meet and greet. It was like to enter the event, you have to show ID, and only after that you get the pass you paid for. Wouldn't that be a lot easier? And none of this drama will be happening.
Actual meet and greet spot, it creates a new problem that puts fans in a weird spot. And what happens is this gives someone who might be a bad actor at OffKai as a volunteer the ability to, if they get lucky enough to work on a panel of someone they don't like, a VTuber they don't like, now they have a chance to get the government names and addresses of people who are attending and supporting that VTuber's meet and greet. And if you think that sounds far-fetched, I am telling you it is not. We've seen the behavior of some of the volunteers in the past, but generally speaking, in the VTubing scene, there's a lot of wackadoos and people who will go to insane lengths to try to get the information of people, including fans. So now it just becomes a balancing act, kind of like cost, risk analysis, like what's more important, scalpers getting a little bit of a leg up, or fans potentially feeling uncomfortable or having their information shared with OffKai staff who's been proven to be unreliable and biased in the past. The answer isn't clear. I mean, you can feel free to disagree or feel one way or the other. That's totally fine, but that's kind of the situation and why people are so polarized about this, and also some people are so freaked out about this, because I think it creates a new set of concerns with this specific measure that they're putting in. But also, there's some other things going on with this convention, including
the t-shirt drama. Oh boy, how petty and how ridiculous will this be?
People who are wearing this shirt. Apparently now a lot of people are going to be wearing this shirt to the convention saying, I got deported at my Oshi's meet and greet. This is a reference to what's going on right now in California and in many other places in the United States where there's ICE raids going on. People are getting deported who are illegals, and many people are protesting that. And this is obviously looking at the current culture, saying that, and making a very obvious joke about the meet and greets where you have to show your identification. Like, this is making fun of a situation where someone shows their identification or lack thereof, and then they get deported. This is an obvious joke. This isn't going to happen at Anime or OffKai Expo. It's not going to happen. Okay? Clear joke. But to others, it's not a joke. Where people like this said, can this be permission tickets to punch people?
Okay, but like when someone cracks a joke with merchandise, it doesn't mean you get physically violent. If you wanna have a retaliation to someone who you didn't like what they said, say it with words, not physical threats. I don't understand this logic of people being like, oh, I'm triggered, let me actually threaten violence. And by the way, the reality is every single person who's threatening violence over Twitter, the second they see you, they'll piss themselves.
They're saying, can this be a reason for me to assault people at a convention because they wear a shirt I don't like? Now, just like every other unhinged person who lets the world know about their violent intentions over things like words, they try to play it off as a joke. But they say, apparently my tweet does not constitute as an edgy joke, but the edgelords, I should have put a slur in it or something. You'd see like they're like panicking. They're typing and sending out tweets every 5 minutes for the entire like 24 hours this has taken place. So their spelling is all over the place. But anyways, they're trying to say this is a joke. It's an edgy joke. Well, no. First of all, compare what we're talking about here. A joke written on a shirt in words versus saying,
Yeah, I don't think it's exactly a joke when you tell people you know, you punch them if you see them. Where's the punchline? The punch itself? Like, I don't understand. Like, every time someone says, oh, I'm gonna do this physical thing to you, the second they get called out, they're like, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a joke, bro. Like, come on. Grow the hell up.
I want to punch people at a convention because of that shirt. And of course, with people like this, they make it known what their real intentions are. I do believe they at least wish they could do something like this at the convention that they're attending, by the way. This is someone who's attending the convention, and same with the person wearing the shirt. And you can see right here, they say, I already set a time and place. So they're trying to...
Okay, so this dude is like, it's just a joke. It's just a prank. Someone responded with, I smell a coward, won't do it. He's right away. I already set a time and place. Check mark. So it wasn't just a joke, huh? He's like flip-flopping so hard. He's playing hopscotch on Twitter. One of the most dangerous activities. Oh my god.
say it's a joke, but they're also setting up a time and place to make something happen. Where clearly there's going to be a fight, or they're going to try to punch someone, or something like that. And then they say this. When asked if they've ever thrown a punch in anger in their life, they say, I have a few times. So this is a person who has struck other people.
Every single oh my god. Every single time when like people like that talk and give such answers, all I have in my head is like, I have the power of God anatomy on my side. Reality is, people who got into fights, they don't brag about it. They don't threaten people. People who know how to fight, they don't need to prove that they know how to fight or throw a punch. That's the joke of this all.
I saved my anger? What the hell does that mean?
That
What are you,
means
8th grade?
that means he has the power of God and anime on his side. Get with the times.
People in anger before. And then, when asked, why are you freaks always violent? They say, we should be more violent. Okay? Then someone says, no, a shirt is never justification to punch anyone. Get over your feelings and act like an adult. Where they say, I will act like a punk, in defiance of saying you should never punch someone over a shirt. Okay? And on top of that, when someone tagged OffKai Expo, they say, "It won't happen inside, don't worry." As if that makes really any difference. Okay, oh, so you're going to punch someone outside of a convention. Oh, great, that sounds so much better. On top of that, if you're OffKai Expo, why do you want someone like this at your convention who is threatening to punch people, whether it's inside the convention or outside the convention, and the targets of which are paying customers? Why would you want this person doing this? It's unhinged. This person has absolutely no self-control, clearly, and they are not joking when they're saying these sorts of intentions. And it gets even worse because...
Okay, I'm trying to understand. What the fuck does it... I'm sorry. What the heck does his name mean? Does it mean like cock like a feather? Look, cock like a feather. That's for alien. You do. I don't know. That's why I'm just trying to understand. What does this all mean? What does it all mean?
No, you don't understand. They just put the emojis because they think it's cool.
Oh, I would like genuinely. This is like the same level of stupidity as this when I opened Steam today. I was checking out to buy the Captain Tsubasa game, and Steam was like, "Yeah, it's similar to Dota 2 and Elden Ring." The football game, man. What do you mean? What do you mean it's like Dota 2 and Elden Ring? It's football. It's weeb FIFA.
Because they responded to the backlash they're getting for this, saying, "Starting off my vacation pissing right-wingers off and hitting a bench PR, a personal record, I'm feeling good. I loathe the existence of anyone who is getting joy out of their vacation starting with endless arguments on Twitter over absolute nonsense. This sounds like a miserable existence and a miserable vacation." And you can see they're trying to loop in hitting a new bench PR at the gym with their sort of bravado and that they're winning and that they're some tough person. And that just doesn't really work when they take a picture of themselves, flipping everyone off, saying...
No way. Did he think he's a big boy posting this? Like, what? Yeah, very naughty floor. What the?
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Man, anyone can just walk into a gym, throw a middle finger on, and take a picture of that.
All I'm gonna say is giving the same energy as those TikTok bros who tell randos to call them daddy. Like, it's giving the same energy. And by the way, all these gyms are everywhere. This looks like an apartment complex downstairs gym.
Picture of themselves, flipping everyone off, saying, "Chat, hype me up. I almost hit 135 on bench."
Sure.
Number one, let me make it abundantly clear. If you bench 135, great. You bench 50 pounds, good for you. I'm glad you're going to the gym and doing something that's good for you. But when you're using your bench weights as a sort of sign...
Yeah, so as I said earlier, the same energy of got anatomy on my side. Going to the gym just to get strong and beat up. He needs help. I don't think okay, this might sound mean. I don't think he actually goes to the gym. I think he went downstairs to the apartment complex gym to take a picture. I don't think he actually goes to the gym. When you bench, especially high weight, you have to practice, right? If you go to the gym, you have to practice, right? So your fingers are not gonna be as smooth as a baby's bottom. It just doesn't work that way.
Of how tough and intimidating you are, you're now opening yourself up to criticism. And this is not even, it's that their bench is 135. They're almost there. And to give you guys an idea, that's 2 45-pound plates on a standard bar. That is not some gigantic, intimidating flex. And a lot of people are clowning on this, and I understand why. Like, because they're using it as some sort of intimidation factor for people they might go up and punch at a convention. It's absolutely insane. And then they make this comment to someone else where they say, your Oshis, which means your favorite VTubers, would they be cool with someone committing crimes against people just for shirts? And they say, and this is someone who, by the way, dedicates all their time to worshiping your favorite VTubers.
I already
but they
see
say,
what he said.
I don't let my Oshi dictate what I do. That's weird as F. And then you find tweets like this.
I'm a big boy. I'm not gonna let my OG tell me what to do. Wait.
Where they admit publicly that they've talked to their therapist about all of the drama involving their favorite VTubers.
Oh my god.
Now again, if this is something you're doing,
you're that mentally affected by some random person's online drama? Did you go to a therapist over it? Oh my god, I would say get some help, but luckily you already are. Jesus Christ.
doing with your time and money, I don't care. But when you're calling other people weird for thinking about what your favorite VTuber would think about someone punching people over a shirt, you better not be the person who publicly admits they're in therapy over stuff that's happening to their favorite VTubers. The lack of self-awareness is crazy. It's absolutely insane. But going further, every time it just adds up. They say that in America, most white people are irresponsible and selfish and very I-oriented, unlike other cultures where it's an us. They don't care about the earth or other inhabitants. And looking further into that subject, I just want to say to my white or cis men followers, y'all are some of the good ones. This person is saying, if you follow me and you're white or cis or a man, you're valid. You're valid now because you follow me on Twitter. Replace whites with any other race and see how that goes for you, okay? People would not be very happy. But the subject of this whole thing, the person who posted the t-shirt that they're wearing to OffKai, said, "Do it, coward," with a lot of support, over 4,000 likes.
Okay.
Now, the person saying they want to punch people or ask for permission to punch people, they're using this as an own. They're like, see, this person wants to engage in this. They want to go back and forth and fight and all these things.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. I think this person's just not afraid of you because you're unhinged, but not in an intimidating way. Just in
This reminds me of like the whole thing happened on Twitter with the whole, oh, women are just grifting when they show care for men on Twitter. Like, and that dude had like a full meltdown and now he's banned on Twitch. It's like the same energy.
in like a kind of like, I don't know if this person can like function properly sort of way, given how unhinged they are, right? They're just saying, if you want to do it and possibly get arrested or lose a fight, go ahead. But they're not intimidated by you. They're just mocking your desire to assault people over a t-shirt. I think that should be very obvious here, but that's the drama involving OffKai. We'll see what happens.
That's not even drama. That's like someone did not get their nap time at kindergarten. Take it out. Take it out. Oh, that's big. Yo, that's big. What the fuck? Where am I gonna put it? Okay, this sounds wrong. We're opening this gift. This sounds wrong. I'm sorry. For comparison, my hand there.
Yeah, that figurine is a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah, same. I did not think it's gonna be that big. That's like one of Zen's Father's Day gifts. Zen really loves Flash.
Yeah. Fly high. Check it. Spread my wings high, reach the sky. Feathers in the wind, never asking why. I'm a bird, motherfucker, I'm a bird. Soaring high, yeah, that's the word. Flying free like you never heard.